All right, Ben. Well, today was a really good visit. I want to talk to you about some things that we noticed today while you were here.
Okay.
First, I want to just go over what your blood pressure was. Have you ever had trouble with your blood pressure being high before?
I've had a little bit of trouble with it.
Well, I think this might be the third time we've seen it a little bit high. So I think that that's enough times that we kind of have to start thinking about what are we going to do about it.
Okay.
Okay. So we call high blood pressure a chronic illness because it's something that you have to take care of over a long time. You have to figure out how to make your life healthier so blood pressure doesn't cause a problem in your life. Okay. And so we look at some numbers, and let me show you some things that might help with this. These are the numbers of like what's the normal range and what starts to be a little bit high, and then what's high enough to do something about. And today your numbers were high enough to be something to do something about. Okay? So that means we have to think about like, why is this a problem, right? So the reason it's a problem is because in the normal heart, your heart just can squeeze and pump the way it needs to get the blood around your body. But with high blood pressure, it's harder for the heart to pump because there's this kind of back pressure that doesn't let the blood flow easily through the whole body. And that can cause some problems over years. I'm not worried about this today, but I'm worried about protecting your heart and your kidneys and your brain for 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What questions you got about the idea of high blood pressure? Have you heard about it before? Do you know anything about it?
I've heard about it a little bit. What happens if it gets too high?
Well, that's a great question. If it gets too high, you can get pain in your chest or feel short of breath or have bad headaches or even get a nosebleed. These are some pages I've pulled out for you to send home with you that are good, pretty easy to read pages that kind of explain why blood pressure is important, okay? And this shows the parts of the body that can have problems. This shows what numbers we think are healthy numbers versus a little more worrisome numbers. This is the numbers we saw on the machine today when we took it. And just a little bit other descriptions, okay? So I'll give you these to take home with you.
Okay.
What I'm going to write here on this form is just the name high blood pressure, right? Because that's what we're talking about. And this is something you can look up and learn more about or ask me more questions about in the future. And there's a fancy word people use when they talk about high blood pressure. Sometimes people use the word hypertension. And what I want to do is call in a prescription that you're going to take once a day. Okay? Have you had to take a medicine every day before?
I've had to take some, yeah.
So the most important thing about this is to figure out a way to remember every day. Because taking it sometimes is not good.
Yeah.
Taking it all the time is important. And it's always a little hard to describe this because the truth is you feel fine today, right? But I'm telling you, you still need to take a medicine every day to stay fine, right? It's also a little hard job on my point to have to explain something that like, I don't even feel bad. Why do I have to take a medicine, right? But we're trying to prevent a heart attack in 20 years.
That makes sense.
And keeping your blood pressure in that green zone is what we want to do that.
Okay.
So the name of the new medicine I'm going to write right here. And I'm sending it to the pharmacy that you like to use. That's your CVS, right? And you're going to take 1 pill a day in the morning. It doesn't matter when you eat, related to when you take it. Some people, when they first start their blood pressure medicine, might feel a little lightheaded because your body isn't used to your blood pressure being normal. It's going to make your blood pressure come down, and your body's going to say, that's a mistake. I liked it high. And it didn't really like it high. It just thinks it did. And so that's why you're going to actually power through that. Okay? The best way to power through this is to not try to jump around too much. If you feel a little light in the head, move a little slower. Don't jump up and go running across the room. Stand up, make sure you feel balanced, and then move.
Okay.
All right? So watch a little bit for dizziness. If you have any problem with it, call us. Don't just stop it. Call us and we'll help fix it. Maybe I'll make the dose lower if you're having a lot of dizziness. Maybe we'll change when you take it in the day. We can work that out.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to send some refills already to the pharmacy. So when you run out, you just go back to the pharmacies and say, can I have the next bottle? There's no activities that you have to change because of this.
Okay.
All right. You can still do everything you usually do. Now, if you were a Special Olympics athlete and your blood pressure was too high, I'd want to make it better before you competed. So now we're going to just keep you able to do your usual stuff because it's not so high that it's dangerous.
Okay.
I do want you to come back for a checkup of your blood pressure to the nurse in 2 weeks. And then I want you to come back and see me in 3 months.
Okay.
Okay? Now, there's one more thing I want to make sure we talk about. I want to make sure we talk about eating healthy with blood pressure. So I'm going to show you a handout. Are you a kind of guy who likes salty food a lot?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about being more careful with your salt.
Okay.
Okay? So this is a list of things you might go over with your family about ways you can try to eat less salty foods. You can still eat tasty foods. You can still eat spicy foods, not salty foods. The word salt is same as the word sodium on packages.
Okay.
So if it says that the sodium's high or the salt is high, we have to be more careful with that. Doesn't mean you can never have it, but you shouldn't be eating bacon every day. My rule is if it tastes super salty, it is super salty. Okay, and you know that taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so potato chips, super salty.
Yeah.
Bacon, super salty. Ham, super salty. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there are things that are even salty that you wouldn't think about it, like cottage cheese is really salty. So you have to start learning how to read it on the package and look for these words.
Okay.
I'd be happy to set you up a visit with the dietitian if you want to learn more about salt. And you don't have to decide to do that today. We can do that at another visit, whatever you prefer.
I think that would be a good idea.
So we'll make a plan then, and I'm going to write that on your after the visit sheet that you could have a follow-up visit with a dietitian to work on how to eat healthier so you keep your blood pressure down. Let's see. I know there was a piece of paper for that. This is the problem with it being, here it is. We should make a follow-up appointment with the dietitian, and I'll put that order in, and she can call you to set up the schedule. Okay? All right, I want you to bring all of this home so you can go over this with whoever you like to go over stuff with at home, mom or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think you're going to remember to take your medicine every day? What are you going to do as a reminder?
I'm probably going to set an alarm on my phone.
I love that idea.
And when it goes off, it reminds me to go ahead and take the medicine.
Perfect idea. Some people also use little pill boxes that have every day of the week on them. And then you can say, ooh, today's Tuesday. I should look in the Tuesday box and see if I need my medicine still, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are two ways or you can have a person be a reminder for you as long as that doesn't bother you, right? And some people have to do all three just to do a good job. Because until you get a good habit of doing this every day, it's a little bit harder to remember. Once it's a good habit of yours, you'll just know, I get up in the morning, I take my medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we can do is these are good reading pages for you to have at home, just to learn a little more. You can bring it back next time if you have specific questions about parts of it. And then here's the worksheet that we did today that explains what we talked about, okay? So high blood pressure, starting a new medicine and all the answers to the questions about the new medicine. And then when you're coming back to me, the nurse and the dietitian.
Okay.
All right? Remember, you can call and ask questions in between time if you have them also, okay?
Alrighty.
Great to see you.
Good to
We'll
see
talk to you again soon, okay?